You are now listening to the Friends of Rugby podcast. Relax your anus. Balls. Thick thighs. Camille Shat. Where's his neck? Eddie Jones. You're fucked, mate.
And we
We're
are
nice
recording. Hello, friends. You're listening to the Friends of Rugby. Are you okay?
I'm good.
Do you have to pee?
No.
Do you have to poo?
I do.
Do you actually have to poo?
No.
We can restart this.
No, I don't need to poo.
Are you sure?
Very sure.
I just wanted you to say poo in your accent.
Poo, 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 poo. Little poo.
We got an exciting show. You know, I kind of like, when we're planning out the show and I write notes here, I don't really want to like see them, for you to see them. I want to bring them up to get your raw reaction from things.
I like that. I respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you would tell me not to look up leading try scorers, weren't you?
Yeah, and I was like thinking, do other podcasts do that?
Probably.
Do they say, hey, don't look at these, I want your raw reaction, or do they have everything planned out?
We have a very organic approach, don't we?
We do.
You know, and I like it. I think we have so much to say that we can feed off each other quite easily, so I'm not too worried about it. You know?
So how have you been, Frank?
Good. Yeah, busy few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what have I been doing?
Anything exciting rugby-wise in your life?
Yeah, we're preparing for our season, aren't we, in our club?
Yes, we are.
We've lined up an international coach.
Yeah, that's pretty
club.
exciting.
It is actually, yeah. Lined up an international coach to come in.
Having a coach with, does he have a Wikipedia page?
He does.
He does have a Wikipedia page.
Yeah. I don't want to say anything
I don't want
just
to give
yet.
it away.
No.
Yeah. Because like I know everything's in the go right now.
Yeah.
But I want to see his boots on the ground first.
I've seen his YouTube highlights reel, and it's impressive. And he's a big boy.
Oh,
yeah, he's a big
having
boy.
a YouTube highlights reel is you made it.
Yeah, and it's not just like he's done it himself. Like other people have made it for him. Like he's a real, well, he's a genuine ex-professional, right?
Yeah,
So,
that is. I'm excited about that.
so for a little small club, this is big news.
This
so
is
I've been
big
working
news.
on that.
I'm kind of sad. I wish I was younger.
I
I wish I was 10 years younger.
I know exactly what you mean. I feel like when I came to Canada, I was the tail end of my rugby usefulness. And I just don't have the fire in my belly anymore for rugby, you know, to playing terms, you know.
Well, I started playing when I was 30.
Yeah.
And I feel like I just lost. There's just so much time.
Yeah.
You know, I should be where I'm at right now at 30.
Yeah.
Being like, okay, I'm really going to get into like my prime here.
Yeah. It makes a huge difference as well. Like having, you know, early 20s, I didn't need to train as hard. I didn't need to do as much stuff to be way better than I am now.
Yeah.
You know, if I want a good game now, I've got to do a good half an hour of stretching. I've got to have been doing cardio for several months beforehand. I have to be prepared for a full game of rugby these days.
Mine is just my general around the pitch knowledge.
Yeah.
Like my rugby IQ is way higher now
Yeah.
than it was when I was 30. I didn't know what was going on now.
Yeah.
So if I was athletically like at peak when I was 30 with the mind I had now, that's what I want.
I understand. And being fit helps that because if you're tired, you don't have the energy to be where you need to be.
I spent the last 4 seasons completely out of shape. And I did not enjoy playing at all.
Yeah, didn't we? Yeah, didn't we all? I tell you what, though, we don't play in the best team, do we? We love our team, but we're not the most successful. So you play in a team that's going well, everything's a lot fucking easier.
But talking about someone who's ageless and where age isn't a number, where age is just a number.
You're talking about a prop?
No, we're talking about Ma Nanu.
Oh, yeah.
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 Ma Nanu strapped up the boots in the top 14.
He did.
Yeah, I saw a little highlight video of him too.
Yeah, he did lose this weekend, though.
He did. He did have a nice try assist.
He did, yeah. Yeah, in fact, for a back to be his age and playing, it's kind of got Matt Giteau energy, you know, like Matt Giteau is the same. Like he just played beyond his years, you know.
I feel like he should have been in the All Blacks almost all this time. Until like maybe recently. He definitely should have been in the 2019 squad.
He wouldn't have been out of place. He wouldn't have been.
I think that would have been a difference maker. I think they were missing. I think that for the last few years for the All Blacks, their center pairing has always kind of been a mishmash.
I agree. Their center, yeah, you're right. They have a bit of an England thing going on where they can't decide who their centers are.
Because who is it? It was for the longest time it was Ma'ananu, and who was the other guy?
Was it Antoine Lennon Brown? Was it?
No,
No.
it was like not was it Conrad Smith or?
Yeah, he's gone for a little while now, though, hasn't he?
There was a center pairing they had for a long time.
Yeah,
It was Ma'ananu and the other guy.
yeah,
I think it was Smith.
yeah.
And after those two kind of faded out, it's never been like they had Sonny Bill Williams too for a while. He was really good.
He was.
But now that like those three are gone, I feel like the All Blacks, they haven't like solidified who their center pairing is. They don't have that iconic center pairing like duel like they used to have.
I'm going to say something even more controversial. There's a lot of All Blacks positions which aren't as iconic as they usually are. I'm thinking when you had Dan Carter, McCaw, Kieran Reid, Savea on the wing, like these were comfortably the best positions in the world, you know? And yeah, they're still an incredible team, but the names don't roll off the tongue like they used to, do they?
They don't.
I don't know how Kiwis feel about that because we're not in touch with the Southern Hemisphere rugby as much as we should be, are we?
Because who's like a dominant, like who is the names of the positions?
I think Damien McKenzie, who's just re-signed.
He's always in and out of the squad.
He is.
He's on the fringe.
And I always thought that Bowden Barrett, Mwanga 10 discussion would just eventually just be Mwanga. You know, Mwanga was the successor, but he was, he's been in Japan so long. And he actually said last week, I'm coming back. I want to be an All Black. But to not have a certain 10 is unusual for New Zealand.
Yeah, they just don't. Ever since Dan Carter left, they don't have a Dan Carter.
Well, it was Bowden Barrett, I think, for a while, you know?
But he was even, like, he was being questioned the whole time.
Yeah.
His kicking was here and there.
He was an incredible runner, but he wasn't the complete package.
No, he wasn't a Dan Carter. They haven't found.
I mean, you can't replace Dan Carter either. That's another
They haven't
thing.
found their Dan Carter.
No.
They should have Dan Carters.
They should. I still think, considering that it's such a popular sport there shouldn't be a position where I can't name quickly. You know, for someone who's a bit of a casual Southern Hemisphere rugby fan,
yeah,
I should be able to name most of the New Zealand squad.
Another name that's probably been up there for a long time, Aaron Smith.
Aaron Smith, yeah. I
we
should
talk
have put
about
him
All
in
Blacks, Aaron Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, Aaron Smith's on that team.
Yeah.
Like, wow. And Arte Savea.
Yeah.
Also for the 8-man.
Yeah.
Like that's a name that you're like, oh yeah, but like yeah, there are missing a lot of. They don't have that. Like, it used to be like when you looked at the All Blacks team, every single one of them were like
it was
best.
every single position.
Every single position was the best
position
in the world,
it
and
was.
you couldn't swap them. You
No.
couldn't like take if you look at the 2015 All Blacks last time they won the World Cup.
Yeah.
There wasn't a position on that field I would think that you would swap out.
No, now there is.
Everyone was like at the top of their game.
Every single one of them. And even positions where you don't normally credit New Zealand, like their lock partnership when they had Brodie Retzelick and Sam Whitelock, they were literally the best two locks in the world.
Yeah.
They were, you know? And now I think of their names that roll off the tongue. It's guys like D-Mac, Caleb Clark, Savea, obviously. But even those guys, yes, they're very, very good, but they're not the first guy I pick if I think of a World 15.
They're not even the first guys that get picked.
No, and another, Will Jordan's another one I think of. Like, I know him very well; he's a very good player. But I would have Hugo Keenan as my World 15 over Will Jordan every day. You know, or even Blair Kinghorn actually.
Or yeah, for sure, 100%.
So what are we saying here?
I don't know. I don't think that. What's the words I'm going to use here? Like the fucking the All Blacks. I don't think their team is faded at all.
No,
I just feel like their star power has faded.
Yeah, and it shows, because they were in a World Cup final. They could have won, but they didn't.
Maybe we were just not seeing enough in the All Blacks.
They just lose games a bit more frequently now. It's not often, but France have got their number. South Africa have their number.
I feel I honestly contribute All Blacks losses to the way the game is being played now and the way the game is being watched.
How so?
So just how the game's being reffed better. Well, they got like the ref on the field, and then they have like 3 guys watching the game in some box somewhere.
Yeah.
Like scouring the footage to like call things.
Yeah, going back 10 phases to find.
Yeah, and I think that has really like kind of hindered the there's a reason why Sanzar and Super Rugby are always trying to change the rules and shit, right? Like,
there it is.
Yeah.
There it is. That's what you were creeping towards.
So like it's just, but anyways, back to like we went way off there. Manonu.
Manonu.
I think is a miss. I think in his 30s, he should have still been playing at least till 38, 37.
He went walkabout in America for a bit, though, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did do a legit walkabout.
Yeah, he went to the MLR.
San Diego.
Had a little nosy over there. Lived in the sun of California for a little bit. Yeah. I don't know. Like I think when they won the World Cup in 2015. He scored an incredible try against Australia in the final as well. Like, he just ran through the whole team. I felt like he retired he was like, that's good. That's a perfect time to retire from Kiwi rugby, from All Blacks rugby, And he did that with a crop of players, didn't he? He did that with Richie McCaw and Kieran Reid and all those guys. It was the perfect time to step away.
I wonder if he's broke. I wonder if he's just like completely fucking broke.
Yeah.
And that's why he's still playing.
Yeah.
He's like, I have to keep playing.
Yeah,
I got no plan. I'm broke.
I got 9 kids. I got
spent it all. Like, it's fucking gone.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of. Like, why is he playing for the love of it, or is he playing because he's broke as fuck? Like,
yeah, maybe both.
Yeah.
There was a local legend where we are, wasn't there? Trevor Leota came to play in Western Canada for a while, played in 5 or 6 different teams.
Yeah.
And the stories are that he was just like, he just loved playing rugby, didn't he? He loved KFC and he loved playing rugby.
Yeah. Well, he was on that there was a documentary about Pacific Island players.
Yeah.
And he's on there.
Yeah.
And he starts talking about basically how he just like ran through his money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I looked into it. He estimated to like blow through like $5 million.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Generous guy.
Yeah.
What was he spending it on?
Just partying.
Yeah.
Just
having a good time.
Yeah. He was a partier.
Yeah.
He talks about in the documentary about how like when he's a young guy and they started throwing money at him.
Yeah.
He didn't have anyone to.
There's no guidance, right?
Yeah, he had no one. Yeah, he had no one on his back financially.
I think you see that with, because I see this in Wales a lot as well. Like a lot of the Welsh guys, because we don't have private schools, we don't have a strong middle class, we're not economically strong like England and Ireland and even Scotland. The guys who our rock stars, they do disappear into obscurity because no one tells them what to do with their money. They weren't raised in a private school environment where they've got a bunch of rich guys around them going, you need to invest your money here.
Or their parents got money too.
Right, yeah, that's the thing. And I feel like a lot of these Pacific Island guys who don't come from the strongest economic backgrounds and they're rock stars at rugby, they get all this money and no one's told them how to use that money, right?
Oh, 100%. Like my parents were financially struggled the whole time. They can't give me any financial advice.
Yeah. These are
they wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I just made $1 million. What do I do?
You go to the casino, make more. Like
my parents just would not know.
Yeah.
Comprehend how money works.
Yeah. There's something to be said for that, I think.
And then the scammers too. You start getting money and you're famous. There's probably every second person trying to call you to get a piece of your cash.
That's right.
So now you don't even know who to trust.
Yeah.
It's tough. Like when you're a young kid and you start making all that money, it is tough. And if you don't have anyone in your corner, yeah, exactly, you're gonna blow through that money.
You are, yeah. So I don't blame these guys, but I don't think Manon is poor because he could go to Japan.
Not.
He could go to Japan tomorrow if he wanted to.
He could, couldn't he?
Of course he could. Yeah,
they would love him there.
Of course they would. Yeah, and he'd be in a league where he could still be effective. So yeah, I don't think it's a money thing. I think he just loves the game.
Anyways, in other news too. Before we get into like some URC stuff, or do you want to look at the URC games?
Yeah, do it. Let's do it. Well,
let's do what?
I like me a little bit of URC.
Okay, let's go into
let's
the URC.
Add some stability to our ramblings, shall we?
Some stability to our ramblings.
Because this was...
was it a frustrating weekend in the URC for you?
Was you a fucking Cardiff fan, yeah. Fucking hell. Yeah. There was a couple of lopsided results. There was a bit of some silly antics going down in South Africa.
We had some major shift changes in the standings too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we knew that would happen because everyone was within a few points of each other. Unless you're in the top 4 or the Dragons, you're scrapping out in an absolute fucking pool of piranhas right now.
I tried to look into the Dragons team and I try to see how many teams outside of Wales they've beaten in the last like 6 years.
It's Newcastle, I think, and a French team.
So I was like, I wonder how many wins they have just generally against other URC teams.
I don't think
and
any.
I couldn't. It was taking too long. I was in a rush when I was trying to get. I thought I could like find it easier.
Yeah.
But when I was looking at their wins and stuff, it's like they have like in the last 6 years, their most wins was 6 wins.
And I think a guy like, I think I heard this statistic, I could be wrong, but Aaron Wainwright, who I love Aaron Wainwright. I think he's won 3 games in a year this year, like this calendar year of rugby. 3 games.
With who?
With Wales against, I think, the Queensland Reds, and Dragons against Newcastle, some French team, and someone else, but I can't remember who. Might have been Ospreys.
Because they have 1 win in the URC this year.
That's right.
I think it's against Cardiff.
I think it was Ospreys.
Oh, was it?
I could be wrong though. Yeah,
it's a Welsh team because they're in the. I looked at the cups.
Yeah.
How they have the nations cups in the URC,
Yeah,
and they only have 1 win in their cup pool,
yeah,
and that means they've won. They've beaten one of the other 3 Welsh teams,
yeah.
and that means that they only have 1 win in the URC. So
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's depressing, isn't it?
When you're like someone like Aaron Wainwright, who could probably go to another team, make some big money.
Could go tomorrow.
He's doing it for the love of it.
He's re-signed. He's a Newport boy.
Yeah, so that's good for him.
Yeah,
I really admire players like that. You know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna stay here.
yeah.
Because leaving doesn't build anything.
And you're objectively making the team you've left worse if you're a quality player. I think of guys like Rio Dyer and Aaron Wainwright who could go elsewhere. There's actually a bunch of other guys who could go elsewhere.
That being said, I don't hate you for leaving for money.
No.
Right?
You're going back to blowing all your money. Like, if I'm a professional soccer player and I make, potentially hundreds of millions over my career, I couldn't even try and spend that, right? I'm going to retire happy. Rugby, my career could be over tomorrow.
Yep.
And I've got 20 grand in the bank, which might sound a lot to me and you, but it's not a lot. If all you've done all your life is play rugby and your resume looks like that.
It's like watching those when you watch those like documentaries where they go to like the players' houses and stuff.
Yeah.
In other sports like the NFL or soccer,
and it's
they got
mansion.
these mansions.
Yeah,
They got like, here's my like airplane hangar full of cars.
Yeah.
And then you go to like the Six Nations documentary.
It's like a terrace house in the rain.
Yeah, it's like he looks like he lives next door to me.
Yeah, and his wife's holding a baby in the doorway, like, come on in, guys, have a look. And like the camera crew's struggling through the hallway.
Don't mind the mess.
Yeah.
It's just like this fucking dinky normal house. And it's kind of like, holy shit, these guys are like not millionaires. Like,
No.
They're putting their bodies on the line for. They're almost like UFC fighters,
Right?
The majority of these MMA fighters don't make any money.
No.
Like, what is it with it with the most violent sports not paying anything?
Because these guys are lunatics, aren't they? They're just going to do it anyway, so you don't have to pay them a lot.
Completely like violent. Yeah, the more violence is in the sport, the less you're getting paid.
Yeah, there's a correlation, isn't there, between hurting people and getting no money for
There
it.
has to be.
Yeah, 100%.
Edinburgh fucking just smashed the Dragons.
They did. I don't know what else to say about it.
Just destroyed.
Because I was
them.
watching Dragons Ulster the week before, and Dragons' attack was good, and it was sad that they lost that for me because they could have won that game. And I thought, okay, if they can keep that up, they'll be all right. And they just have weeks where they just go, no.
Fucking the things that you like. That this like the Friday games were just like so night and day.
They were, yeah, they were, and some of them were. There's some mismatches there. So Glasgow absolutely fucking hammered the Lions, didn't they? They nilled them.
Which I was surprised.
Yeah, I was surprised by that.
The Lions are not the strongest South African team, but they're not a bad team.
They were unbeaten for about 3 or 4 games at the start of the season as well.
Yeah, but that was like the time when like everyone was like not fully back yet from internationals in the summer, and the World Cup was, so it's just that was like they kind of took advantage of that.
Yeah, they did.
Because I was wondering when everyone started coming back, when their full squad started getting to full squads, I wonder how the Lions were going to do.
Yeah.
And it kind of played out exactly how I thought.
Yeah.
The other Friday game, Ulster and Stormers. Ulster. Wow.
Ulster have had one of the worst seasons ever, and they're in 6th place in the league.
These motherfuckers.
They're in 6th. I mean, I say worst season ever. They're still on 7 wins, which is impressive, but they've absolutely scraped some of those wins, and they've gotten bonus points and losing bonus points. Like,
to be fair, it was 17-0 at half for the Stormers.
Yeah.
And so this game, you're like, this game's over with.
Yeah.
And Ulster just like fucking like you could not kill them.
No. They've got some exciting backs, don't they? They reminded me of Harlequins in the Gallagher a few years ago, where they could be down 30 points at half time, and no one was worried. No one was worried.
They got like it was a Balakoon and Jacob Stockdale.
Jacob Stockdale had a good game.
Those guys are all over the place in those games.
Yeah.
Who's their fullback? Michael Lowry.
Yeah.
He's good.
He is good.
He's a fucking good player.
Yeah, they are good. Yeah, they are just lacking a bit of oomph in the forwards, really.
They tried to lose this game.
They always do. It's a phrase, and you say you Ulster the game. They have a verb after them.
You Ulster the game.
You Ulster the shit out of that. But they have not been Ulstering it for a couple of weeks now. So good for them. I like Ulster as well. I love their attacking style. So I am happy when they're up there.
And it wasn't. This wasn't a fucking throwaway Stormers team either.
No, it wasn't the best Stormers team.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking close. I'm looking at it right now. This is like pretty close to their top guys.
Yeah. They're missing a couple, but so are Ulster. So everyone's always missing a couple of guys. And I don't know, maybe the South Africans still haven't quite clicked, have they? The Bulls are clicking, but I do expect more.
I think when you look at like I think they're settled into the league now.
They're in the league. I'm just saying with the players they've got, which is literally World Cup winners throughout all of those teams. They should. I don't know if they should win more, but I expect them to win more. But it is good for the league. We need it to be competitive. I don't want 4 South African teams sitting at the top of what was once the Celtic League. So it's not a bad thing.
The Bulls on Saturday.
Yeah.
Fucked up Zebre.
Yeah.
63-24. Zebre's got a lot of fight in them.
They don't go away, do they?
They
don't go away.
They are putting up the biggest fight. Like they're being murdered right now. Like their team wise.
Yeah. Well, they've taken some scalps this year as well.
Yeah. And they're folding and they're just like, we're gonna go out with a bang.
Yeah. Yeah. Good for them.
So that was like
you keep saying they're folding.
They're not. They don't exist anymore, right?
I know that, but
next season there's no plan for a Zebra team. You understand that, right?
I had read that there was another Italian team just going to take their place, and all the Zebra players would just go there.
No, there isn't.
There isn't a happy hunting ground for them?
They're trying to find someone to do that.
Oh.
So right now, the Italian rugby union has control of the team.
Right.
But they're going to cease to exist after this season.
Well, I knew that.
Yes.
I thought there was someone else coming.
No, there's nothing. There's nothing official yet. Nothing has come in.
Can't like one of the Italian fashion designer billionaires welcome the Gucci Parma
you keep
Milano
thinking
team.
No, they're still here. There's going to be another team. But I'm like, no, there isn't now. There's no other team.
They're literally playing for nothing.
Yeah, they're playing for nothing. They're gone after this season.
Yeah.
So they're going on for pure pride.
Well, let me tell you something crazy about the URC, right? Zebra have 5 wins, and then if you go up the league to 5th place, Munster have 7 wins. They're 2 wins behind a team who are comfortably in a playoff spot. Mm-hmm. That's how mental this league is. So Zebra haven't had a bad season. They've actually had one of their best ever seasons, and they're, like you said, they're folding. So good for them, I guess. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't blame them for collapsing, would you?
No, I am excited to see where, the league, if they put another team in.
Who's coming?
There's no one yet. There's no one.
For Italy.
Yeah,
for Italy.
you think there's some magical team that's going to be...
there's a magical team.
There's no magical team.
I think a Ferrari is going to buy them, and they're going to be the Roma Ferraris.
Okay, let's keep going. Munster, 30-24 over Connacht.
Yeah.
In Galway there.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about this game, to be honest.
At the last bit of the game, the dying minutes of the game, I think it was Cowlin Blade.
Yeah.
Scores a sick try.
Yeah.
They go ahead. This game's done. Connacht did it. They beat Munster.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, in the back, someone in the ref's ear is like, "Oh yeah, we got some foul play."
Actually,
ref goes in.
Touched his balls.
He's like, looks in. Bundy motherfucking Aki gator rolls a guy right out of a ruck.
I didn't know that.
And just they lose the fucking try.
Oh.
Yeah. Tries disallowed.
Yeah.
And they were so fucking close. Yeah, because these two were fucking going at it the whole game.
This has been a dodgy season for Connacht because they have had a lot of close. Like even last week, Ospreys 43, Connacht 40. A game Connacht could have won actually, despite being like 30 points down nearly at one point. And I do feel bad for Connacht because they can score tries. It's just this league. It's competitive this year. It's really competitive.
Yeah, Connacht is just they're in a weird. Their team's in a weird spot. Like they're just not. They don't. I can't put this in words. I'm trying to say something here, and I don't know what I'm going to say. But they're just not
filling their potential.
No, I think they're right where they're supposed to be, basically.
Yeah.
Which is kind of depressing. You shouldn't have that in this league. That's the one thing I don't like about the URC.
Yeah.
Is the financial differences, the massive amount
massive.
Of financial
massive.
differences between the teams.
Yeah.
Because you're seeing, like, when you have to make statements like that, like, Connacht, like what they have, what they're working with, or the Dragons, or the Italian team, they're doing pretty good for what they have.
Yeah.
There's it kind of dampers the thing, right?
It does. That's something we don't talk about, and it's almost surprising it's that competitive this year because if these teams were spread out across the three French leagues, Dragons would be doing okay in the third division. Leinster would be fighting it out right at the top of the pro, the top division, right?
Yep.
All in the same league here. That the entire middle of that league, which is nearly 10 teams, are within 2 or 3 points of each other and 1 or 2 wins away from each other is crazy.
Like Dragons would be battling in the fucking English championship.
Them and Newcastle, they'd be scrapping out at the bottom, right?
Yeah,
they absolutely would. And you're like, it's no shade on them because they don't have the resources. They just don't have the resources or the players to compete, right?
It's just like when you look at other teams, like if you look at the NHL, for example, like the reason why an NHL team sucks is simply because there's a salary cap.
Yeah.
So they got a salary cap.
It is much more meritocratic, isn't it?
It's all about being a good manager.
Yeah. Yeah,
like
it is.
And
making smart transfers.
The GM's got to hire the right coaches.
Yeah.
The scouts got to, scout the right players.
Yeah.
You got to make the correct signings.
That's the key thing for me.
And since there's such a lopsided in the financials on all these teams, like, you don't. It just really comes down to. I honestly, at the same time too, when I'm thinking about it, like if you're gonna be like, let's say the Welsh team, if they had more money, there's some players that they probably wouldn't be playing in the Premiership.
Yeah, that's true.
They would be playing in Wales.
That's true.
Making their teams more competitive.
Guys like Tommy Raffle, yeah.
At the same time, they would still be, if they had the money, I think Wales would still be struggling too because of their development. Like
that's true as well.
The layers below them.
Yeah, that's true as well.
That would be.
But that is also a money issue.
The competitiveness would be much higher.
It would.
It would still be much higher, but you would still see them struggling because of the lack. But at the same time, they'd probably be hiring.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
they'd be hiring mercenaries too.
The development issue is a money issue, right?
Yeah.
It's all a money issue, really. Yeah, we've made stupid decisions, but they were dictated by money. I was thinking about this because we're going to talk a little bit about the Ospreys Scarlets game because I was getting a bit excited for the Ospreys. They're kind of the team I care least about in Wales, but they're still one of the more successful and historically successful Welsh teams. In fact, they're the most historically successful Welsh region, right? And then they go up against the Scarlets, who, as you rightly said, looked fucking pathetic against the Stormers the week before, right?
Yeah.
Just falling off tackles. And then our Scarlets are 17 points down in this game this weekend against the Ospreys, and I think that's kind of how I thought it would go. And then the yellow card happens, and Scarlets just score 3 quick tries, and Ospreys can't come back and lose, right? And it's almost like the shit Welsh regions drag the good ones down whenever they meet each other. Every time the Ospreys are about to do something good, the Dragons will come up and like knife them in the back, like, yeah, you're not going anywhere, Whereas Connacht and Munster, they both got points from their games.
Yes.
From that game, right? So they both went up the league. Whereas Scarlets are just choking the shit out of Ospreys from behind. Like, you're not going anywhere, bitch. Like,
there should be a rule where the Welsh teams are not allowed to play each other.
We should have little gentlemen's agreements. Can you just can we both win this? Can we have a draw where we both get bonus points out of this? Because anyway, but what I was going to say is like what I'm noticing recently, and I'm noticing it at national level and I'm noticing it at club level, because you've mentioned Johan Lloyd a couple of times, and you've not been kind about him.
No.
He's not physical. He scores. He's exciting with the ball. He kicks his points. He's a good kicker, actually. But he looks scared. He looks scared of tackling sometimes.
He just looks lost
Yeah.
all the time.
And if you're playing behind a pack who's not going forward, you're not going to be the most effective 10. But his defense is questionable, right? And I think something I've been noticing generally. I go back to that England-Wales game in the Six Nations, and it's hard to criticize our team too much because they tried their best. Like we got a fucking kicking, but like I look at that team, I was like, I can see the attack in shape. I can see what you're trying to do. We just got absolutely outmuscled. And since we closed the national academies, we don't produce hard conditioned guys like Dan Biggar anymore. Like Wales used to produce 10s for fun. Now I can't name a single Welsh 10 who I'd have in the Lions. Now I can't name a single Welsh 10 who I'd even want starting for Wales, to be honest.
Right?
Do you know what I mean? And I do put it, when we close the National Academy, we're really missing that key age, the teenage years, where they get a conditioning trainer, they bulk up and they do the extras a lot every week, so their skill set, their fitness and their size is international standard. Someone like Johan Lloyd, had he been through the National Academy, could be like a Dan Biggar right now, because he is a good player. He's just not big enough. He's just not fit enough. He's just not strong enough. He's not physical enough.
I don't think he's athletically. I don't think there's anything wrong with him.
No, he's a talented guy.
He is just a fucking when it comes to the physical part of the game, like he looks afraid.
Yeah.
He looks like he's scared.
Yeah.
And it's just you see every time, like I have to count how many highlight reels I watched of his games, and you see a try and it's him falling off a tackle, or literally like not even really making an effort because he just doesn't want anything to do with it. He's like, nope,
it's pretty damning.
Not today, Satan. And he just like walks out of the way. And you're like, oh my god, what the fuck? This guy should not be on a pro team.
Yeah,
like if he's scared, if he's that scared, like he shouldn't be on a team.
Lucky Cardiff just signed him, then, eh?
Oh my god.
And then I was watching this Cardiff Benetton game. Discipline was a bit shit from Cardiff, but could have won it, really.
The cards of Cardiff.
The cards of Cardiff. The tarot cards of Cardiff. What'll it be? It's another yellow. Fuck.
They just wanted to lose this game.
Fucking hell. And like, I don't want to blame Callum Sheedy because I was excited for him to come, but some of those missed kicks, he literally cost us that game in terms of a missed kick.
Because Benetton Cardiff, that's a game you want to watch.
Yeah.
Because those are two teams that are relatively at the same power levels.
Both at 36 points in the league right now.
Yeah. So you're like, oh shit, like this is going to be, this is going to be a hoedown.
Yeah. And it kind of was. It was a close game. It was a close game.
2019.
Point difference, right?
Yeah.
But as a Cardiff fan, fucking hell.
It must have been super frustrating.
It was insanely frustrating because that was the game. I thought if we can win that game, we can get into the playoffs. Like, yeah, we've got some tough games coming up. We've got enough points to stay in there. That was a must-win. It was a must-win for Cardiff, and it was a must-win for Ospreys. We're getting dragged down by Scarlets and Benetton. Benetton deserve credit, and Scarlets deserve credit for their attack, but, like, come on. Let us up, Let us into the playoffs. That's all we want.
There's still 3 more rounds, isn't there?
Yeah, and I think Ospreys probably will make it, but I can't see Cardiff making it now.
I think there's 18 rounds. You got 3 more rounds. So
and
who does Cardiff have next? Cardiff has Ospreys.
Yeah.
Winnable game?
No,
I
don't think so.
Then they have to play.
Wait, it's winnable. I just can't. I'm not optimistic.
Oh my god, they have a bye the next week.
Well, then it's Judgment Day, right? That's the next thing that's coming up.
Yeah, and then their last game is against the Bulls.
We got Munster
in South Africa.
Then we got the Bulls, and then the final game, week 18, is Stormers. So we've got to go on a little South African tour against the Bulls, who are probably going to wreck us.
You're going on a South African tour. Yeah.
Finishing the season on a South African tour when you need to win games, you put too much pressure on yourself.
That's not
ideal,
ugly.
Is it? It's not ideal, really. Ospreys, though, playing Cardiff, I think Ospreys are probably a bit better than Cardiff, could win that. Then they're playing Dragons in Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Then they've got to play the Sharks. The Ospreys, though, aren't scared of going to South Africa. They've got some scalps there, and then they play the Lions in South Africa.
So they have
winnable.
a little bit easier there.
They have a bit of an easier run. So I think Ospreys could make the playoffs, realistically. But Cardiff, they fucking blew it this weekend.
Let's see the standings here.
They fucking blew it. But if you look at the points difference, it's one of those situations. Ospreys and Cardiff both need some other teams to lose if they've got any fucking hope.
Even because the Scarlets are still in the conversation here.
Yeah, but I can't see him winning. I can't see him winning many more games.
What do you think the Dragons have to do to?
Well, they mathematically impossible.
Even
I think.
Zebre
could
potentially.
They could. They absolutely could. Yeah.
Yeah. Zebre could fucking could make it out.
Every team could, except the Dragons, be in the playoffs.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, obviously Leinster, Glasgow, and Bulls are fine. Even Sharks are fine, I think.
Fuck, Leinster already have 62 points.
I think they've already sealed their spot in the playoffs. Like they could lose every game now, and they probably got a home final. You know,
they could lose their first place spot.
And they did last year, and all their chickens came home to roost. But this time round, they're not taking any chances. They're going to throw an RG Snyman at you. They're going to throw a Slimani. They got a Barrett boy.
Let's go into Leinster. Let's talk about Leinster here.
Yeah.
Leinster versus the Sharks.
Yeah. A game that Sharks probably feel like they should have won.
Kind of.
Or a game that Leinster thought, do you know what? We've got amazing defense, so we're going to show you how it's done.
Kind of a little embarrassing for the Hollywood Bet Sharks. The Hollywood Bets Kings Sharks.
What? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
That's not. I just made that up.
Okay.
That's the name of their park.
Okay.
Where they all but yeah, I would. This was a game that the Sharks really, really should have fucking won.
Yeah. Yeah, they should have won that. I mean, I don't mean they should have won that in terms of the way the game went, but if they want to win the league, they have to beat Leinster at home in the middle of the season, you know, or the business end of the season.
This was in South Africa at home, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You know, that's your opportunity to prove we've got what it takes, you know.
Also, it just shows the scary good depth that Ireland have.
You mean Leinster, right?
Leinster, sorry, yeah, Leinster.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Right?
Yeah,
like
they
this
do.
is when you look at the team that played against the Sharks and you look at the Sharks, you were like, rest in peace, Leinster. And these boys ponied up.
They did. Well, when you've got one of your guys who's won a World Cup playing for the other team, that says a lot, doesn't it? Like Snyman's coming home to fuck up the Sharks. Like,
well, RG Snyman,
yeah,
wasn't on the pitch.
he wasn't playing. No,
wasn't on the game.
No, he wasn't playing. I mean, generally, but yeah.
Jordy wasn't in this game. They like fucking sent the kids in this one. This is a big win.
Yeah.
Jordy Barrett, salami, whatever.
Salami?
His name. Yeah, nowhere near.
Pepperoni salami, not even in the squad.
Yeah, all their backup. Like, who the fuck is it? Finton Gunn was playing 9. Who the fuck is that?
Finton.
Good
old Finton's coming
probably
out.
an up and comer.
Good old Finton.
Like, yeah, like they just like they really like. I wonder if they're just like, yeah, guys, we're probably gonna fucking lose this game.
I mean, they can afford to. When you have a winning culture like that, you could put the fucking janitor in the team, and he'd probably do a good job.
They didn't even put Jamie Osborne in. They put Andrew Osborne.
They put his weird little brother in there.
His creepy brother who plays Fortnite all day. Like, you just look at this fucking team. Like, I don't know almost any of these players. Clarkson, I know. Keen Healy, and then Kieran Frawley.
Yeah.
And who's on the bench here?
Penny was there. He always gets some tries for Leinster.
Yeah, but it was fucked. Like, that was fucked up. Like, the Sharks, like...
You think they should have won, eh?
Oh, look at the front row. Oxen Che, Bungie Mambanambi,
Yeah.
Vincent Koch.
Yeah. It's a good front row.
Sia Khaleesi, Hendricks as 9 and 10. Oosterhuizen, like Mapimpi. Like, this is like a lot of the Springboks.
It's a World Cup winning team.
Yeah, they must have been fucking pissed. I would have been pissed if I was a Sharks fan.
Which I think says a lot about momentum and confidence, right? Because what Leinster did well was defended well, you know? That was a low-scoring game, and it wasn't error-strewn. It was just brick wall against brick wall, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I would put it down to, yes, like, Leinster defended really well.
Yeah.
And the Sharks got lucky that the inexperience from Leinster, they didn't throw out much of an attack threat to them.
Yeah. Maybe.
So, like, Leinster didn't really have, like, they were really basically, like, if I look at the stats here.
I don't think Sharks scored until, like, the 54th minute or something like that, which is mental.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So...
Because the Sharks had the majority of the possession, and they had the And in the last 10 minutes, they had the majority of the possession too.
It just shows you, doesn't it? Like momentum. And, have you ever been in a game where you're enjoying defending because it's like you're so dominant, you're not scared to put in a tackle, right? And tackling often is about confidence, right? You size up the other guy, you hit him a couple times and you go, I've got this guy's number. And that other guy's thinking, shit, he's hit me hard and early a couple times. I'm not going to try anything too exciting. I've just got to get through him. Right? And all of a sudden that head game goes on for the rest of the 80 minutes. And when you're Leinster and you've won all but one of your games, both in Europe and in the URC this year, you go into that game thinking, we're probably going to win. You could put a team of mutants against us. We'll probably win. You just believe, don't you?
Yeah, they probably do.
You probably believe. And,
they're surrounded by winners, too.
And if your academy is, these guys have been fed, Wagyu beef since the age of 10 in a private school. These guys have been whispered into the ears, you never lose. You're never going to lose. They believe it. You believe it, right? So, yeah. I'm not surprised, but I am disappointed the Sharks, with that team, couldn't fucking fire a shot, really. 10 points is a bit, what are you doing, guys?
Because this should have been like a 30-10.
I would have
the Sharks.
I mean, I would have liked it if it had just been a bit more high scoring and competitive, right? Like, this is the creme de la creme of the URC, And if I'm a Sharks fan, I'm sitting there going, the fuck more can we do? The fuck more can we do,
Right?
What are we supposed to do?
What are you going to do when all the Leinster boys come back?
What are you going to do when they have their full team?
Yeah.
That's a statement, isn't it?
I
Because
almost feel like... will a full team be able to beat the Sharks?
Yeah.
the kids did such a good job.
Yeah, send them again, right? But it's a statement, isn't it? Because if I know I've got to play Leinster in a semi or a quarter or a final, and I can't beat them at home with a team of Springboks, and they've sent a lot of their less, not their necessarily their first players, like, what the fuck chance have we got?
Talking about that confidence that they have in these other players, like Leinster have, in their depth in their squad, like the confidence, like the previous years when they were told. When they were criticized for sending B teams into important games, I bet you the Leinster coaching staff and stuff thought,
we believe,
that they were going to win these games.
Yeah,
this team's good enough to win.
And they usually do, to be fair.
Yeah.
They just don't win finals, do they?
No,
but
that's an Irish thing.
Yeah,
I'm finding that as an Irish thing. When it comes to the game, they have to win. They won't win it.
Yeah, but like you said, they're interchangeable, aren't they?
Yeah.
Leinster and Ireland are pretty interchangeable. So whatever you want to call that Ireland Leinster entity, they are choke artists when it really counts in the last few years.
The last game of the weekend, Glasgow just put a fucking beat down on the Lions.
They did.
42-0. Oh man, it just like that sucks. Getting nailed in rugby sucks.
I know.
Yeah,
I know. Both personally and the teams I support all experienced this on several occasions.
My main takeaway from this game, I've probably been saying this, George Horn has to be going to the Lions tour.
Yeah, he's very good.
He's so fucking good. Is he underrated? Like, is he is other people must be saying how fucking good he is.
They are. I actually heard Dan Biggar on the Rugby Pod do a Lions starting 15, right? And he picked Finn Russell, Hugh Jones, and Tui Pelotu as his 3 Scottish guys who are starting. And I felt like Scotland still get forgotten about. And even me, I still write off Glasgow, despite a really dominant performance and a really good season. So, yeah, I think a part of it is they get overlooked. Because there's some guys in the Scottish setup and at club level who, like Duhan van der Merwe, right? Yeah, we all know he's a really, really good winger. But he doesn't get talked a lot about in the Lions conversation. And someone like,
I think there's a lot of people that think he's going.
I do think he's good. I mean, do you know what I mean, though? It's like he's still one of the best wingers in the league and at international level. And he does, like, all these Scottish guys, there is a sort of blanket of secrecy over them a little bit. Except for Finn Russell, who everyone has to talk about. It's obligatory to talk about Finn Russell, But yeah, I think George Horn is class. He had a really good game, yes, but he hasn't got as much international experience as, say, Jameson Gibson Park, right?
He's still got a lot.
He's still got a lot.
He's still got a lot. In my eyes, in the Northern Hemisphere, it's Jameson Gibson Park and then George Horn.
Yeah, but that's the first time you've ever said that to me. After a dominant Glasgow performance. You've never said that before in your life, do you know?
He was in my team of the year.
You didn't have a team of the year. You made me do mine.
No, the team of the year when last time we did it.
Oh,
I
okay.
put what was that? What lock? Can't remember him. The Welsh.
You can't even fucking remember.
Teddy
can you?
Williams.
You put Teddy Williams.
Yeah. George Horn was in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been rating this guy highly for a long time.
Yeah.
And like in my eyes, like, he's the second best scrum half in the Northern Hemisphere.
Okay. Okay.
Oh wait, sorry. Out of the between the Prem and the URC. Because then I just gotta auto make.
Yeah, did
DuPont.
you just forget about? Yeah, we're talking about Lions' sphere of
Yeah, I'm
influence
talking
now.
about in the Lions sphere.
yeah.
I would say George Horn's number 2.
Okay.
He is just everywhere.
Did you see what Thomas Williams did this weekend though?
No, I
You
didn't.
didn't see that clip?
No.
Holy shit!
Did he?
It was dirty. So he gets a pass off Josh Hathaway. He's got one guy to beat. He turns around, closes his eyes, just throws the ball in the air. Center catches it and scores. It was like some basketball shit. It was mental. So all of a sudden people are going, how can he play like this for Gloucester, but he looks lost for Wales? So I think he's back the conversation. I don't think Alex Mitchell ever left the conversation, really. So I still think, even though, George Horn's playing well, you've still got to have more of something, and I think it's international experience to be in that conversation.
I think a sleeper scrum half too that no one's talking about that has a high chance of making it to the Lions tour too is Craig Casey.
Yeah,
He's really good too.
he is good. He is good, and he actually has a lot of international experience.
And he has a lot of international
Yeah, he
experience.
does.
And I think he's that'd be hard. I don't want to be the Lions pick guy.
I don't think Andy
don't wanna be
Farrell's worried about it. I don't think he's worried about it.
I know he said that they have the squad narrowed down to 75 people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just
Us peasants can't understand the mind of Andy Farrell. I think he's good.
there is no team he can pick that's going to make everyone happy.
Was ever the case.
That was never.
No, it was always the way. It was always the way.
You're going to make these calls, and there's going to be a ton of people that are going to be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Because Gatlin, for 3 Lions tours in a row, picked a lot of Welsh guys, pissed off a lot of Irish and English guys. The first 2 times he did that, he thought, fair enough, they have won like Grand Slams repeatedly. When he did that for South Africa and he still took a lot of Welsh guys, he was starting to think, come on, man, what are you doing? You know? He didn't take as many Welsh guys. But I think if Andy Farrell took a lot of Irish guys, not only would that make sense because he is the Irish coach, but I don't think a lot of people would have any problems with Ireland because Ireland are pretty successful.
Mm-hmm.
The only team that's better than them in the Northern Hemisphere is France, and obviously they're not going. So, again, Dan Bigger talking about his starting 15, it was still mostly Irish guys. It's full Irish front row, and except for a couple of spots, it was mostly Irish guys. And that makes sense. I wouldn't be upset about that. I think if I was Scottish, I'd be a bit like...
I don't think he's going to pick a majority Irish squad.
I do.
You do?
I do, yeah.
I
wouldn't
honestly,
blame him.
like, he did pick a lot of Irish coaches.
You did?
But because he took their scrum coach, he took the assistant coach, and he took he took the forwards coach from...
He took Easterby, didn't he?
Yeah, he took Easterby, Fogarty.
Yeah, but he did take a Scottish guy, John Dalziel, who was the Scottish forwards coach.
Yeah.
And he did take an English guy, Richard Wigglesworth.
Which I thought was odd.
Wigglesworth. No, it's not
for
odd.
for the attack.
No, he's got a bit of pedigree, this guy. And Andy Farrell was with him at Saracens as well. So he knows him pretty well. And, Gatlin did that. He took guys he trusted. He took Rob Howley, because he played, he had him at
He
Wasps.
loves Rob Howley.
He does love Rob Howley. Yeah, no one else does.
He does love Rob Howley.
Yeah, in a world of everyone hating Rob Howley, Gatlin's always had his back.
He does have a very strong Irish influence in the coaching team.
Rightly so.
I still don't think they're going to pick a majority Irish team.
Okay, if they're not going to pick, who's the main representation then?
I think it'll be England. I think it's going to be English. I think it's always English anyways.
It's not. It's not.
I can't remember when was the last time the English weren't a majority of the team.
They haven't been a majority for the last 3 tours.
No, that's not true.
It is true.
No.
It is.
No, they make up the majority of the teams.
I don't think
If
that's
we
true.
look it up. They make the majority of the teams. I think they made the majority of the teams of the last 3 tours.
That's not true.
Yes, it's true.
Okay, we'll have to agree to disagree. We'll
Yeah.
have to put a pin in that.
Yeah. We'll look it up to see who's because right
Yeah.
now, off the head, I am confident that in the last, if you look at the last 3 tours,
Yeah.
they've been majority English, and I think you're going to see a majority English team again.
You need to justify that. Tell me why.
It's just, I think there's just, I don't know. I can't justify that.
Spooky feelings?
Not spooky feelings. I just feel like there's just these coaches really rate these players.
Yeah, I mean, I get a lot of it. I understand. I could see 6 or 7 of the starting team being English, and rightfully so. But I don't know why you would start anyone over Andrew Porter or Dan Sheehan or Tyg Byrne or Hugo Keenan or Jameson Gibson-Park or James Lowe or Josh Van Der Fleet or Kalen Doris. Do you know what I mean? Like, all these names.
Well, now you're saying these names.
Do you know what I mean? Like, these are the best players in their position in the line selection debate for me. And I would not be upset if you picked them.
I feel like there's going to be, I think everyone's looking at a majority Irish squad, and I'm thinking that everyone's going to be a little let down.
I wouldn't be let down. I wouldn't be that bothered because, I mean, they're not fucking taking any Welsh guys, are they? They'll take 2 token Welshmen.
There are some Welsh guys that should be in the squad.
Oh, yeah.
And I think their best chance for getting in the Welsh squad is probably at hooker and at 9.
No, it's Jack Morgan.
Oh, and Jack Morgan. I forgot Jack Morgan too. But man, his position though, like there's a lot of players.
Yeah, but he's still one of the best.
Yeah.
I say that without bias, I think. He's still one of the best. But, yeah.
In other rugby news...
Yes?
Jack Crowley turned down Leicester.
He turned down Leicester or Leinster?
Leicester. Yeah, he turned him down.
Good.
Jack Crowley came... Leicester.
Justice for Jack. I'm still here.
Leicester came for him.
Yeah.
Probably opened up the checkbook for him, too.
I saw a joke. It was some kind of meme, and it was like... Leicester rumors for 10 are starting up again. Like, babe, new Leicester 10 rumors have started. Like, because
a new babe is coming in.
Yeah.
A new little babe. I know there's some like Polish or Ukrainian fucking half Ukrainian kid in the Irish system somewhere.
They eyeing him up.
Who plays 10?
They're licking their lips.
He's like 15 or 16 right now, or maybe even a little bit older.
Yeah.
And he's making some news.
Yo, yeah.
Yeah. But Jack Crowley and Leicester came for him. He said, no, I'm staying in Munster.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. Yeah.
But Leinster, on the other hand,
they
already got rumors of a big signing.
Oh, I heard this. They're replacing Barrett with, tell me who it is.
Damien Williams.
Damien Willemse.
Yeah, Willemse. Yeah,
Damien Willemse. I wasn't trying to correct you. I'm just being pretentious.
His, and then if you look at anywhere it's posted online, the comments underneath, like, fuck, Irish are pissed.
Why are they pissed?
Because of just how Leinster they just have like endless money to like just fucking buy any player they want.
Yeah, we're going to replace Geordie Barrett with Jesus Christ himself.
Yeah, that's just a fucking...
And we're going to place Soleimani with, 3 excellent French props or something. This is the way the game is going. I would be pissed off if I was, Connacht, Munster or Ulster, because it does feel like you're getting forgotten about a bit. But these guys, the signings Munster have made in the last 10 years would, make a millionaire's bank account weep, right? But they just didn't work out. Even Ulster, they've had some incredible signings. Yeah, they just don't work out.
Kitsoff.
Yeah.
Vermeulen.
Yeah, Dwayne Vermeulen.
Yeah, Dwayne Vermeulen.
Yeah.
Like these guys are top players.
They're rock stars. They just don't work out, do they? It was the same for Munster. They had Snyman. They burnt him on a barbecue, and he fucking didn't do anything for a year. Damien De Allende didn't do a lot,
He was good for Munster.
He was good for about 2 games. Yeah. He was very good for about 2 games. But, Snyman has already done more in a Leinster jersey than he ever did in a Munster jersey.
Oh, he's playing so good for them.
Leading the USC with offloads as well.
Yeah, you looked at the stats, and I told you not to look at the stats.
I looked at that stat. Yeah.
I think it's strange for the Irish Union, who controls the teams. Yeah. They pay the coaches. They pay these central contracts. They need to be more in charge of there needs to be, I don't know exactly how it works, but it's almost like the Irish Union needs to do a draft for their teams.
Yeah, but
it's just not beneficial for Leinster to have like all the talent. Like I don't know how it works. It must be weird. Like it's like Leinster, like I don't exactly know the ins and outs of the system, but it looks like it's a system that the way it's ran, the way it's centrally ran, they need to have some sort of draft. Like these teams need to be like in a draft. Like here's the player pool from all 4 regions.
Yeah.
Here's these players, and then they draft them.
But here's how it really works, right? All of the players, I'm exaggerating, but the vast majority of the players come from Dublin.
Yes, that's
So
exactly.
why would they want to give up their players?
That's
These kids want to play for Leinster.
yeah.
They're
but
from Leinster.
They get to be professional rugby players. They get to be put in a professional team,
Even a lot of the players who play in those other provinces are from Dublin private schools.
right? Like we have the majority of ice hockey players are from Canada,
Right.
and they're playing in the United States.
It's different though. Because if they have less say in it, right? They're told you're going to go play over here because they have a draft system, as you said, and also like if I could go and play in Florida and sit on the beach on my day off, or live in Calgary where it's -30.
But when you get drafted, you get drafted. It's not like rugby.
No, I know, and that's that's the first thing
And
I
there's
said.
only been a few instances where a player has refused to. I can only think of 2 where the player drafted refused to play for the team.
Yeah, and they're actually introducing that in Wales, next year.
Like you're talking like Connor McDavid, the best hockey player
Yeah,
in the last like fucking 30 years.
yeah, once in a generation talent.
Yeah, he got drafted to Edmonton. He's going to be he's on the record. He's going to be the highest paid player. He is now the highest paid player.
Yeah,
Or not anymore, but he was one of the highest paid players.
yeah,
And he's got to spend all that money and live in Edmonton. Like he could be living in LA. He could be living in Florida.
yeah,
So he could be living in Toronto. Like he can live in all these nicer cities,
yeah.
right? So I think that's like I don't care about like these kids wanting to play for Leinster,
Yeah.
growing up in Dublin. Like they should be the way if they're going to centralize everything, they should centralize the talent also.
It's different though, isn't it? Because
then you're going to divvy up if you have all these new players going, if the talent's getting divvied up, you're going to have these players. You're going to have the central contracts too spread out.
Let me tell you something that you won't understand as much as I really don't mean that in a patronizing way, right? In North America,
Don't worry, I'll take it as that.
good,
but-
you should. If I'm a team, I can just go to another town, and it happens.
Yes.
The Winnipeg Jets weren't always the Winnipeg Jets.
No.
San Diego Chargers weren't always San Diego, right? If I'm a guy from this town and that's my team, and the team just goes, yeah, we're going to go to fucking another city, then you become, you have a mercenary feeling about it your whole life. If I'm born and raised in Dublin, and I'm offered to play in Dublin for Leinster, who win a lot, and someone says, we want to move you to Connacht, we want to move you to Galway, the other side of the country, a smaller city with less going on, fuck off. Fuck right off.
Yeah, that's why they should just control it. That's where you're going to go.
I understand that.
And then once you make a career of yourself, then you can maybe move around if you want.
Yeah, yeah.
You can make those decisions after you've established yourself as a pro.
Yeah.
But if they're going to do this centralized thing, centralize the talent too.
Yeah.
Right? And you don't have to centralize like if Leinster I'm just like the up and coming talent. That's all.
Yeah.
You have to you have to draft it.
I could list you off right now 5 excellent fly halves.
Like Canada does that. Canada does it with the CFL. They draft their talent.
Yeah, but like I told you, that's the culture there.
Because
here.
the majority of the population is in 2 provinces.
But that's the culture, isn't it? Like Conor McDavid is not from Edmonton.
No.
But he's proud to play here because that's the culture.
Because the CFL is a very similar situation. You're not just going to move a team, right?
Yeah.
Like you just you have to and they have to spread the talent out because the talent's only in 2 places. And the majority of the talent is just in one, in Ontario.
I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm saying is it's unlikely to happen because we do have much more allegiance to where we're from, like the town we're from in the Northern Hemisphere, right? Like I want to play for my hometown. And if that's Dublin, I'm playing for Dublin. Like, you've got Ross Byrne, you've got Harry Byrne, you've got Prendergast, 3 guys who are from the area and want to play for that team and also they win, that's a factor.
Yeah.
They're doing that in Wales next year. So
you're just seeing the lopsided, nothing's going to change with Leinster because if they're going to have all the upcoming talent, they're going to have all the centralized contracts.
Yeah.
And they're going to be able to use, and they're going to have a ton of free money to spend on Jordy Barrett's. And,
that's happening, right? That's what's happening.
And RG Snyman's.
Or when you do sign RG Snyman, don't burn him on a barbecue. Get good use out of him.
So I think in my eyes, if they want to fix that, they should pool these kids and draft them.
There is untapped for potential for Ireland and the Irish provinces to be better than they are. There's definitely is. There's a way to make it more efficient.
Well, if
right?
you drafted it, then the weakest team of that year, because this is how generally drafts work.
Yeah.
The weakest team gets the first pick.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't like that.
So Leinster would have everything, so they wouldn't even they'd be picking fourth. Right. So. The person, so like Connacht or Ulster would get like the first pick,
like a little pick and mix,
right? And then you just these players just kind of, and then when they establish themselves, they can go to other teams. They want to go play for Leinster, like, well, I want to play for Leinster. I didn't like it here, right?
Smelly down in Galway,
but it would even up the Irish teams. It would make them more competitive.
I agree with you. I just don't think it's not going to happen, though.
No, it's not going to happen. But that's going to be, it's just meh.
But like I'm trying to tell you, we're doing it in Wales next year. That's what's happening.
You guys got a draft?
Yeah, we got a draft.
So, what? I never even heard this.
Yeah, it's a thing. So it's a little different. But what the WIU have proposed is the WIU can say to a team, we want to move this player to this club. If that player agrees, because the player has free agency to go, no, I'm happy here. And that's the be all and end all. But if they agree, they can move that player. They've agreed that. So we're seeing that in Wales because we recognise that we have to disperse the talent a bit better. And it will stop poaching from, the English academies and the English clubs a little bit, right? If the WIU has more control of, actually, you want to go play for the Ospreys because they're doing well, they need a fullback, actually. Off you go, So I think that would work well. I think Leinster has such a stranglehold over Irish rugby a bit as well, right? Like they're powerful in the union, right? It's not a relationship of equals. Yeah, it's top down, but like you said, if everyone in the Leinster team nearly is on a central contract, you've freed up millions of euros.
Yeah.
Right? Why would you change that if you're Leinster? Why would you shoot yourself in the foot?
Well, because they
don't give a shit about Connacht winning. They don't give a shit about Connacht winning in Leinster. They want to win.
It's because the Irish Union, has control over everything.
But like you said, it's not as simple as that. It's clearly not as simple as that. So anyway, I agree with you. It's just not going to happen. Leinster want world domination at Connacht's expense. So good luck. Can have Cowlin Blade, all right?
You got Cowlin Blade.
You got Cowlin Blade. Relax.
Be happy, okay?
Yeah.
Also, you got Michael Lowry.
Yeah. He's doing just fine. Maybe Stockdale will get another call up in another 10 years, get another chance. He'll blow it and be a good club player.
Well, we covered there. We got Ma Nanu, Jack Crowley, Leinster signing everyone. Andy Farrell's coaching team, we kind of went over.
Yeah.
Exciting thing, Moana Pacifica put a beat down on the Crusaders at home.
Finally. This is like Zebra beating Leinster. No, it's not. It feels like that.
It's fucking... They fucking mutilated them.
They did. I know Crusaders aren't the team they were under Scott Robertson, but it was nice, wasn't it? Did you see Savea's try as well?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it was strength. He just arm wrestles his way through a tide of guys to score as well.
I love it when he does
beautiful.
that. I see him do that. I don't love it when he does it because he's usually doing that and I'm cheering against the All Blacks.
Yeah.
But yeah, good on Moana Pacifica.
Yeah. Are they? I want a New Zealand person to tell me. I know the idea there is it's a team of Pacific Island guys based in New Zealand, but are they just another Kiwi team?
Are they based in New Zealand or are they based in Australia?
I thought they were based in New Zealand.
I don't know actually how it works.
I don't know how it works. I want people to tell me as well. Because it feels like...
They are based somewhere in Australia or New Zealand.
Right, yeah. Well, they're not in Tonga,
actually,
are
I think
they?
they play somewhere around Auckland, actually.
I thought so.
Yeah.
I thought so.
They are basically another picking ground for All Blacks, and the All Blacks have already picked some.
Because the whole idea
out
at the start seemed really nice. It was like, yeah, we're going to give back to the Pacific Islanders. You're going to have your own team. You can base yourself here where we have a stadium for you. And all of a sudden it's like, you're another New Zealand team and we're just going to poach everyone who plays for you. Is that the case? Or am I stirring shit?
I know Tonamaga went on a rant when they picked some player to go play for the All Blacks. The All Blacks picked him up.
Yeah.
And he's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I thought the whole point was to not fucking do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was pissed off, wasn't he?
We're sorry.
Twirling their mustache. That was the plan all along.
Yeah.
So
there's another, they got some kid, Patrick Pellegrini, who's playing for the Moana Pacifica.
Old Paddy Pellegrini.
Yeah, Paddy Pellegrini.
Yeah.
Australian-born kid.
Yeah.
He's playing for Tonga, but I could see him being like poached somewhere.
Mm.
It's like, oh, you don't want to play for those guys anymore.
No, come back.
Why don't you come play for the Blues?
Yeah.
Something
Look
like
how
that.
sexy you look in this blue outfit.
Yeah.
Uh,
Also, thing to wrap up this podcast here.
mm.
So you and I are going to the Challenge Cup final, the Champions Cup final.
Yes, we are.
Well, there's one team that's already kind of pretty much not going to show up at the final.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you hear about the news about Saracens?
No.
Yeah.
No, tell me.
So
Well, Saracens aren't invited?
the Saracens said they're resting all their top players for the Champions Cup's knockout stages.
So why is that bad?
Well, they kind of made a public statement that they're going to focus on the Prem.
Oh, I got the other way around. So they are
Yes.
not focusing on the Champions Cup.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
They're deliberately shitting the bed so
yeah,
they can win the
deliberate.
Prem.
Yeah. So they probably were like, yeah, we want to focus on the Prem.
Why would you say that? Why would you publicly say that? Just shut the fuck up and do it anyway. If you haven't got the depth.
They
That's
want to rest their
stupid.
players for the rest of the Prem. They want to keep those guys fresh for that. So
Weird.
Yeah, it's really dampening on the league.
Well, you know what? Good riddance. We don't fucking need him in the Championship Cup final then.
Yeah, but I don't want a team that maybe could have won it, like just decide not to win it.
I'm looking at the Gallagher Prem now. Saracens are sixth. They're significantly behind Bath and Bristol. They're only 2 points behind Leicester and Gloucester. I don't think, and yeah, Saracens could catch Bath off guard. That's why would you say that though? I'm going back to that. Why would you come out publicly and say, yeah, one of those leagues we can't be fucked this year. We want to focus on. Just shut up.
It just kind of.
It's rude.
It should be punishable.
It's just, yeah, I know. I
There
kinda
should
feel
be
the
some
same
sort
thing.
of punishment. Like, okay,
Yeah.
you're in the Champions
Yeah,
Cup.
this is an honor.
This is supposed to be like this is the cream of the crop.
Yeah,
What the fuck are you doing?
yeah.
Like, there should be more. Like, you can't just be dropping. Like, it just.
That's weird.
It puts a damper on the Champions Cup.
The Champions Cup has been nothing but dampened in the last couple of years.
It's just.
It's losing its shine for me.
Yeah, there's just something going on. I just fuck.
The
Like,
format is bad. The way teams, particularly South African teams and sometimes Leinster, have kind of not sent the best because they were focused on something else.
it adds to a really congested rugby calendar.
It does add to a congested rugby calendar the way they've structured it. Yeah, there's so many things that they've done. It used to be great. It used to be the best of the best, and because it was, you know, a shorter route to the playoffs, it really felt like the best teams. I don't like it. I don't like it anymore. I'm looking now. Okay, this is a bit like, you know, someone who never gets picked in the team at school going, yeah, I'm really going to stop studying so I can focus on my sports career. It's like, you're shit anyway.
Yeah.
Saracens are 4th out of 6 in their pool in the Champions Cup, and they're mid-table in, no one cares about you. You're shit in both, right? Stop making statements that make us hate you. Everyone already hates you. You only have one fan. Like, why would you say that? Yeah, they're not going. I can see them not going through anyway in the Champions Cup. So just shut the fuck up.
But it's the Saracens. No matter what, it's still the Saracens. You know,
Yeah,
they're a legendary club.
they are, and even this
And
season
their
they
players-
proved they can get some results.
Yes, they can beat. I think on the day, the Saracens could probably beat any club.
I agree.
I even think the Saracens could beat Leinster on their day.
I agree, but just shut up. You know,
Yeah,
go about your business. Be sneaky like you always have been.
Yeah.
Don't need to come
Just
out
so
public.
far ahead, like, yeah, we're gonna do this.
Yeah, do you know what, guys? This 4D chess they're playing with us. Like, you know, nobody cares. You're shit right now. You're
so
very
it's just-
mid. You know,
It's
that's weird.
yeah. I just thought how insulting it was to the Champions Cup league.
It's like taking your ball home when you lose, isn't it? If I'm not playing, no one's playing.
Yeah, you flip the
It's
board,
my ball. You can't play.
flip the game board.
Yeah, what the
Like,
fuck?
fuck this.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Like, were you worried about getting relegated in the
Yeah.
Prem? Like,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
no
yeah.
relegation.
Yeah,
Like, what
yeah.
the fuck?
Yeah,
Like,
you'll always have Newcastle down there.
but
don't
yeah, I
worry.
could see something's got to, like, the if the Champions Cup is going to survive. Like, this is a pretty big team to make a statement like this.
Yeah.
If the champions and Challenge Cup want to survive, they got to, like, really redesign everything.
I agree. You know, I was thinking about, this is one of the last things I'll say, right? So I was thinking about this just the other day. The URC has 18 rounds, okay? and the Six Nations has 5 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Champions Cup on top of that is, I don't know how many rounds it is, but it's another, minimum 5 or 6 rounds, right?
Yeah.
And then I look at, there's a lot of fucking rugby. It's rugby. We are spoiled. There is top quality rugby every
There's
weekend.
no downtime.
There's not a single fucking off week, right? It's mental. But you look at the Southern Hemisphere, the Super Rugby has 16 rounds, so 2 less. And the Rugby Championship has, 3 rounds? Well, no, it's back-to-back, actually, so it's not much. Actually, it might be 1 more round. But they do have, but they don't have the Champions Cup to worry about, unless you're South African.
They have some bigger gaps in rugby.
They do.
Down south.
But it's not massively different,
No.
but it's enough so that I think those players can go have a sabbatical in Japan, can have an extra couple of weeks rest, and still play top quality rugby for the majority of the year. They've got a pretty sweet, if I'm a Kiwi or an Australian, I've got a pretty sweet spot in terms of how much rugby I play. Whereas if I'm the Saracens, I'm drowning in my mid-table mediocrity. We just can't. We need to focus on this right now. I'm really sorry. I can't be bothered with the Champions Cup. Like, maybe we've done that to them. Maybe we've choked the fucking life out of the baddies of English rugby,
We definitely have. The Northern Hemisphere, like the people that have it the worst, the nation that has it the worst is the Springboks. Because they play rugby all year round.
And boy, do they complain about it.
Like
we're sending a C team because everyone's really tired. Willie is tired.
Yeah, those players play all year round.
They do. Yeah.
So and it never stops for them.
No.
So they have a very unhealthy work-life balance.
They do.
Yeah.
But they're not making statements about, tanking their team in one of their leagues.
No.
So.
They'll just do it.
Yeah, they will. They'll just get on with it.
And then they, fuck you guys. We just can't.
Yeah. So.
Well, I think we talked about everything we were going to talk about.
That was the last thing I wanted to say.
That was the last thing.
That's the last thing I'm ever going to say.
And your dog is starting to go nuts, so I think it's a good time to end the podcast.
Yeah.
All right, friends, like and share the podcast. You can email us at thefriendsofrugbypod@gmail.com. And you can subscribe to our Patreon at... No, we don't have a Patreon.
Do I not? Oh.
No, we're not even close to having a Patreon.
Okay, we could just make one.
One guy.
Yeah, it's probably you paying yourself.
And then we'll argue whoever gets the $2 for the coffee.
Yeah.
All right, friends. Thank you for listening. Have a good one.